All right, Frank, next fight, UFC 141, Lesnar versus Overeem. Let's talk about Nate Diaz versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I think this fight's going to be fight of the night. They don't like each other. Nate Diaz is coming in with a record of 14-7-0. They're both 6'0". They both have long reach advantage. They fight from the outside, so it's not going to be like the advantage that the Diaz brothers tend to have because they tend to pick you out from the outside. They both have incredible ground. I mean, how do you call this fight?
No, I think the one thing everybody agrees on is the fight of the night. I really can't sit there and argue which guy I think really has a decided advantage over the other. I think what Nate Diaz has going for him is he throws his punches in such abundance and he keeps his hands on you. I think that that can be very fatiguing. And Cowboy, though, when he throws his strikes, all of them have something on it. He doesn't really sit there and play with you. So I think each one kind of like every time I talk about, if you have a guy as a power puncher, we'll hit him a lot and make him move. Wear him out. So that's what Nate Diaz possesses that could throw off Cerrone. And then people in the past have asked me, like, you see the Diaz brothers, if a guy was sitting there throwing all those punches, what would you do to him? I'm like, well, kick him in the leg, like start landing heavy shots if he's sitting on his stance and throwing. And now Cerrone possesses that. I've always been kind of curious what would happen if somebody really tried to chop and work away at the legs of the Diaz brothers with their style. And as far as, I think they're both, the wrestling is probably about the same. Neither guy is really known for high-level wrestling, but I think very good at defensively wrestling. And then on the ground, I don't know. Diaz has some of the best movement, I've seen as far as, going from transition from position to position. Cerrone, though, he really, when he snatches up, he has an explosive ability to, you see him twist around for a few seconds, and I've seen more than a share of opponents end up right in the triangle. Yeah. So both guys are excellent off their back. I would really be hard-pressed to pick a guy. I do think, though, I would be shocked, though, if the fight was not considered fight, unless somebody gets caught real early and we never see it develop. But as far as, other than that, I can't imagine that this fight, I'm going to be excited just as they're announcing them to come out there. This is one fight that I'm probably most excited about seeing on the whole card.
No, I agree. And I'm glad you brought it up because I think that was the one thing I was thinking about is with Cerrone, his leg kicks or his kicks, the fact that he kicks. Because the Diaz brothers don't tend to kick a lot. They do punch and they have great ground skills, but they don't tend to kick a lot.
And the kick is just every once in a while, I think just kind of like, hey, look at this for a second, just to kind of throw a monkey, a monkey wrench in the whole system,
Yeah.
But you're right, they're mostly hands orientated. I'm
just going to go ahead and say it. I hate to do it because I love both of these guys. I think they're great fighters, and I don't really. I think it's a coin toss, but I am going to go with Cerrone only because he's coming off that the 6 wins. Cerrone he's a pretty determined kid. I mean, especially when you piss him off. I think Nate may have pissed him off.
They have that effect on people.
Yeah, no, not the Diaz brothers. Okay, so are you going to pick anyone?
Nah, this one I'm neutral, man. Can't.
Frank's neutral. I'm going with Donald Cowboy Cerrone by a slight edge. I think it's probably going to go decision.